Hey, Allie, what's
Hey,
up?
hey, Maddie, how are you?
Good, good. Just, a Monday. I don't know about you, but like for me, Mondays are like kind of crazy. But yet I was like, I feel like I have time to like talk about something we want to talk about. So here
Yeah,
we are. How was your weekend?
it was good. We got back from vacation. I actually just shared a post about like things that I'm not freaking out post vacation.
Ooh.
And I was talking with a client earlier and I was like, yeah, our vacation was like 7 days and I definitely drank every single day, whether it was like one like drink or we were like having wine or whatever. Like my family and like my cousins that we go with they're like definitely like big social drinkers.
Mhm.
And every time we're together, it's like kind of like not pressure to drink, like have a drink, but I'm like having FOMO. So I feel like drained. I feel drained. I like texted you. I was like, I am dead. And you're like, yeah, I figured, but like I literally dead. So it feels good to like eat a vegetable, sleep in my own bed, like
Mhm.
do the healthy things. And we were talking about this once, like it doesn't really matter like what you're doing on vacation as long as you don't bring those like habits home with you. And so I'm just like keep
Mhm.
repeating that to myself and my clients. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to weigh myself because like it's probably not going to be like what I want to see. So just like getting back to the normal shit. And like
Mhm.
if I look at a bottle of wine, I'm probably going to like die. So, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was the hiking aspect. There was a lot of like activity. So I was like,
Hmm.
balance, offset
That's fun.
everything. It was
Yeah,
good.
that's fun. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, everyone has their own preferred way of vacationing. And I
Yeah.
always laugh like when people are like, oh, I don't know if you said this, but it's the social pressure of drinking. I'm like, I've literally never felt that. Like people like my husband's friends, like they like to drink and we've gone on vacation with them and to their cabin and they're like, oh, I have a drink. Like it's never like dawned on me like have a drink. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's been like 6 years, of not drinking. Like I had a drink on my 21st birthday and that was really it. And I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah. You're like, it's my norm. I don't feel
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a weird not to I mean I didn't go to college like everyone else, like traditional college, so that
Sure.
bug just never like grew. I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense. So I never like got that itch for it. And then when I was 21 or right after I turned 21, I was put on like heavy medication and they're like, you cannot drink on this. So like I
Right.
think having that in my mind, I was just like, you so many months without it, and then I just never like picked up on that habit.
Totally. And I feel like I feel like there's not like now there's not really a normal because like so many of my friends don't drink just because like they just choose not to, or like
Mhm.
some people just prefer to like smoke and like whatever. And so I feel like if you're somebody that like judges another person or like you're like that pusher of alcohol, it's like what the fuck are you doing? But like as just as an individual, I'm like, everybody's sitting around the pool and they're having a cocktail. Like I'm having FOMO. So like even if I'm having like a seltzer water, I like need to put it in like a cute little glass. So I like
Mhm.
feel like not the FOMO because my brain is just like FOMO. And like in college, I didn't even give a shit like about FOMO. Like I would be like, I literally don't care what anybody else is doing. That doesn't sound interesting to me. I'm not doing it. And now I'm like, why do I have more FOMO now when I'm like hanging out with like my family?
Yeah, if I like FOMO for sure, mine with food. Like for
Oh,
anyone
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
for anyone that's following along my like health journey right now, I have an autoimmune and I am doing like like the I can't remember Everlywell, they have food
Yes.
sensitivity tests. I am doing an Everlywell test like on drugs. Like it's called an
Hmm.
MRT test, MRT, and it's like way more intense, actually accurate. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So like I literally just like miss regular food. And like by
Yeah.
regular, like, I'm eating like lots of good like vegetables, grains, like protein, all that good stuff. But like
Sure.
literally my husband and I are like, let's go out to eat. I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to go out to eat again. Like
Right.
I can't right now. And it's just like that's what I have FOMO about, like eating like a regular person. I miss.
No, 100%. Like doing any sort of like food elimination diet is
Sucks.
so hard and it makes me like that much like more sad for women that feel like they have to do it for dieting purposes because I'm like, girl,
Mm,
like you don't have to. Like,
I
sometimes
know.
you may have to for health reasons, but like, oh my God, no, I get that. Like, just like there's some times where like everybody's like eating all the good gluten-y food, and I'm just like, my piece of bread is like this big and it's so tiny and it sucks, and I'm just like, yeah, I got FOMO about that.
How many clients have you had that come to you and then they're like, I've tried everything. I've tried Weight Watchers, I've tried gluten-free, I tried dairy-free. And I'm like, it's so crazy to like the general population that they think dairy-free and gluten-free out of the realm of like because you have a sensitivity, but they think those are like weight loss options. Like
Yeah, I think,
crazy.
I remember this girl in high school. She cut out gluten and she lost a bunch of weight, but it's because she wasn't eating a lot of carbs, because like at the
Mhm.
time there wasn't a ton of gluten-free options. Like,
Oh
it
my God,
was
none.
super limited.
Mm.
So she lost weight and then was like telling everybody, "Oh yeah, do a gluten-free diet, do a gluten-free diet." And it's like, I don't know, like I feel like everybody had this universal experience where like one person lost weight doing it. So then it was like, we're all trying this and doing just shit that is like not necessary. Like,
Right,
and
right.
even sometimes when, which we're gonna talk into today, kind of like reality TV, I'll see like on Housewives being like, oh, I don't eat gluten, yet they're like drinking a beer like on vacation. And I'm like, you realize like, that, or like, I don't have carbs. And I'm like,
Yeah.
do you know what you're eating? Like, people, do not get
Yeah.
your like health advice or any advice from like reality TV,
Uh,
because honestly, it's the craziest we love it, but I'm like side-eyeing the entire time.
no, it's just like it's like so many things. Like it sucks that people that have like little to no information or education around health get put on a public platform, and not
Yeah.
that they are asking people to listen to them about their health choices, but for better or for worse, they're on a platform
Yeah.
that many people are watching and that probably many people want to be like them or want to look like them. So like when they say stuff like, "Oh, I do this." Great example. I'm watching Vanderpump Rules right now. Like I started from the beginning and I'm like already on
Yes.
season 7, 6, something like that.
Oh my
It,
God. Did you watch Sheena's like Rob season, right?
oh God, yes. Boy, let me finish this point.
Sorry.
He, I feel like she dropped the bag on that one, but
That
maybe
was
I've heard,
mortifying.
yeah, that was rough. But like her talking about like her losing weight and Stassi, and like I wouldn't like I'm not saying this, like she said these things. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Like I'm not about body shaming. She said these things. When she came back after like a very small hiatus, she was saying how she gained weight, and she was like, "Oh, it's not from running around Sir and like smoking cigarettes all day." Like because that's like all they do is
Yeah.
party, drink, treat their body like trash, and then like try to cover it up with like with Botox and like spray tans. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, I do have to agree. A spray tan really is just like perfection. But it is so crazy because I was listening to a podcast, I don't know, not that long ago, and it was like I think it was Katie was talking about like how at the beginning of Vanderpump they weren't getting paid a lot of money. They were barely able to cover their rent. So like
Mhm.
they really weren't eating a ton and probably spending like whatever money
Yeah,
on like alcohol,
yeah.
maybe drugs, who knows, cigarettes, like
Outfits.
outfit, like everything was just on the outside. And like, live your life, you're a young 20s, like in LA, but holy shit, like watching that when I think it first came out in like 2013 or 2011,
Mhm,
one of those years. And I was just
mhm.
like, I remember thinking like, oh my God, these girls are like so skinny, like,
Oh
wow.
my gosh, yeah.
And I'm
That
like, how many like young impressionable minds like are watching these things and are just like, oh my God, that's goals.
well, I do want to add, and real quick, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I realized I just saw the button for it. I was like, what if we are talking and we haven't been recording?
I'm dead.
Okay, now that that's out of me. God, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we're not here to body shame them, be like, oh, they're
No.
so skinny, eat a burger. it was more like they look unhealthily skinny, like they're not eating, like,
Yeah.
like there are
Yeah.
some things going on. But I think it was also like all of them had said that, especially Sandoval, like the pressure to look good and like you can't don't I've
Shaving his fucking for if you like just
it's
my
called
eyes literally
dermaplaning, okay? It's called
rolled out of my
dermaplaning.
head. Yeah, no, he was dermaplaning before anybody else was, but he's using like a goddamn like disposable like razor.
Ew.
It's
What
hard.
if
I can't.
Do you think he used that razor in other places
Oh,
too?
100%. Are you kidding me? He like on like a recent on like season 10 before like the scandal happened, if you watch it with the subtitles on, which I have to watch TV with the subtitles on,
Same.
somebody was like, oh, it smells. Sandoval was probably back here. So like I think he's kind of grimy. So
Ew.
he's totally using it other places and then putting it on his forehead. I believe that.
Ew. Ew. But even the way they talk to each other, like it's always
Yeah.
like, oh, you look so skinny, like you look so, you know what I mean? Like
Like,
there
I
was,
hate you. You look so skinny.
yeah, and there was one scene where they were in New Orleans for Stassi's birthday. I think it was her birthday. And they went to this really nice restaurant that she goes to,
No,
and
it was Katie and Tom's joint bachelorette party.
oh yes, I didn't realize it was for them, but yeah, that was for them.
I know what you're gonna say, and I remember this.
And Sheena doesn't eat anything with seafood,
Yep,
and Kristen
Kristen.
is a vegetarian. And they're like, we're getting up and going to walk away, and then Stassi, I think, said like, oh, the anorexics are leaving.
Yeah,
And when they confronted her about it, I think Sheena did, Stassi's like, I meant it as a compliment. And I was just like, how is that a compliment? Like, you for sure did not mean that as a compliment. You're just trying to cover up like the mean thing you just said.
totally.
Because Kristen doesn't eat fish. Sheena
Right.
doesn't eat fish. Regardless or not, like if someone has like an eating disorder or disorder eating patterns, don't call it out and be like, oh, the anorexic's leaving. Like that's
Right.
not gonna help anyone.
Like that's a real nice thing to say to your friend.
Yeah. And I was just
Yeah.
like, so there's just like so many things in Vanderpump where they're just like constantly like uh, going
It's
back and
just,
forth,
oh, it's
like,
so bad. It's
yeah,
like it's so much pressure to already like be on reality TV. You're probably
yeah,
already so hyper aware of how you look and what you're doing and all that sort of stuff to then like
yeah.
have your own friends either like saying crazy shit or like whatever. Like it is a lot. And so every time I watch it, because I love rewatching shows, that's like my toxic trait. I don't want to watch a new show. I want to rewatch my old shows. Um, but I'm always thinking like I'm watching it in the kind of in the sense of like I'm really glad I didn't watch this as like young Allie because I watched The Simple Life with like Paris and Nicole, and I was always like, oh my god, like that's what I want to look like when I get older. And like obviously now I look with like different guides and like I just want to be a healthy person and whatnot. But like it's so crazy. It's just so crazy just watching them and like thinking like, oh my god, my little brain would have probably been like goals to like all the partying and to like all the craziness and just
Yeah.
like I mean, it's fucking entertaining, but I don't want to live my life like that. Like that just seems like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if you haven't noticed yet, guys, like this is what we're talking about today. Um, we're talking about like reality TV and kind of like what we see as like health and fitness coaches and how people can like succumb to what they're seeing and the negativity of it, unfortunately. I mean, this could even go into like um
Even
uh
toxic relationships,
oh yeah,
like
yeah,
normalizing a toxic
yes.
relationship because you see it on TV.
100%. I mean, everyone says they like Jax now, but the way he talked to
Like
Brittany,
present day. They like him.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I don't know him present day yet, obviously. I'm only in season 6 or 7 with him. But even like I was sitting with my husband, and when, spoiler, if you haven't watched it yet, Jax cheats on his current wife before they even get engaged. And he also, a tape gets released that he tells the person he was cheating on his now wife with that he doesn't see himself marrying her. He wouldn't have kids with her, all these things. And like I was texting my one friend and I was like, you know, if someone's showing you with their actions they don't want to be with you, if someone's telling you basically they don't want to be with you, how low of self-esteem or like, I don't even know, like, do you not value your worth enough? Like, not to like bring down on Brittany, but just like in general, like this
Yeah.
goes for all women. Like, it's just like crazy. Like, someone's showing you and telling you they don't want to be with you. Why would you want to be with them? What?
Yeah, it always makes me so sad because she's so, I mean, from what we see, she's
Yeah.
so nice.
Uh,
She is a great friend to
Angel.
everybody. Like she's
Yeah.
literally an angel. Everybody is always
Yeah.
telling her like how great she is, and not in a way that like makes her head big, but they just really appreciate her.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I wonder if she felt like this is how I'm making money now by being on the show. I don't want to move back to
Yeah.
Kentucky. Now I'm friends with all these people. Like, I wonder, did she just stick it out and endure it because she did really love him, but also like, I don't want to go back to my old life. Like, it's so interesting. And they have a podcast now together, which it's not very interesting. But
Really?
yeah, I listened to it like when it first came out, when everybody was talking about like Scandival, I was listening to everything. It
Yeah.
wasn't really that interesting after they stopped talking about it. Um,
Uh,
so I don't know. I mean, I do believe that people can change, but I don't think everybody deserves like a second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth chance with one person. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that shit was crazy. And same, remember when like Stassi and Jax were dating? Like,
Oh God, they were all so toxic.
so crazy. And it just, I feel like that culture was, or that area was just like a culture of like toxic energy. And all I just see is like, also Tom pouring a beer on Katie's head in Mexico. And I'm just like,
Yes.
if my man did that to me,
Yeah.
I'm not marrying him. Like,
Yeah.
it makes me so sad because when you're in like the thick of something so bad, you probably just put on like your blinders because it's like, well, this is what I'm used to. And I've put in the
Mhm.
time with this person. So like,
Mhm.
this is it. I don't know. It just made me so sad. I'm like, you women deserve better. And these men ain't shit.
And I 100% agree. But I feel like it's also just like it's that party lifestyle. Like
Right.
you could probably ask any girl who is like a big partier, like, if they have a stable relationship or if they feel like super confident in themselves or if they feel great about their own body or if they feel like they're in like a good space in their mind with their life. Odds are probably all those answers are like no or barely. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like you're just stuck in that toxic world because
Yeah.
you're around those people who are like that, partying, drinking, like using alcohol to cope, like so
Yeah.
like you're not gonna have a healthy relationship. Like if you are, you're probably gonna be pulled out of that party lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
I remember I heard on the toast,
Mm.
they had Jax and they were asking him like, would you go back? And I think I heard someone ask Stassi this too, like, would you go back on like reality TV? And Jax just like, I don't know. Like we are really happy. Like we love our life right now. Like things are not like there's no like drama going on. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
I don't think we'll really ever see like really, really healthy relationships on any reality TV, maybe give or take a few here and there. Because it's just like not conducive. Like that's not the environment that
Yeah.
produces a healthy relationship.
Well, it's so hard to, I mean, if you have you watched any of the Housewives franchises?
I tried watching, did I try watching one? I tried watching maybe Utah or something like that. I can't
Oh, Salt
remember.
Lake.
Salt Lake, yeah.
Salt Lake.
I think I watched a little bit. I just like didn't get into it. And then I watched another one and
Yeah.
I was like, it's terrible. It was just like
Wasn't your
I
vibe.
no, no.
So what I always see on with in those worlds is that so many times relationships are just they go to shit because you're seeing yourself in your relationship on TV and so many people have an opinion about it And there was this one couple on New York, Kristen Takeman. Being on the show actually like saved her marriage because her husband was kind of a douche. And like when he saw himself on TV, like he came back in their second season and like changed person. And they were like, this was like
Wow.
really great for us. For other people, it's like the kiss of death. And it's like, oh my God, all of our dirty laundry is out there. Our little arguments, people are saying, you know, you're a horrible person. And it's like, if any of us in relationships that are healthy, we're being filmed for an extended period of time, you're gonna see shit that's not cute. Like,
Yeah.
so it's so hard. Like, it's just, I feel like there are no great relationships on reality TV for couples because it's a lot of pressure and you're probably on edge. And then if you do have an argument and the cameras are there, of course they're going to use that footage. And then it's like,
Yeah.
Are we just watching it and like we're okay and we're like normalizing these like bad relationships, or are we like over criticizing? Like it's so hard. So I would, if you could go on reality TV, if Bravo came to you and they gave you the fattest contract, they were like, here's a bag, would you do it?
I automatically know my husband would say no, because he doesn't even want to be on my social media, and I accidentally posted his face not too long ago, and he got so mad.
Oh no!
So if we're talking like current situation, current partners, you know, my husband, like I would have to say no because he would never do it. But if it was like hypothetical, some other person I was married to, I think I might. I don't know. I mean, I could see myself going on Below Deck, but I would be like,
oh my God, I love Below Deck. See, like that.
I would be so boring though. I'd be like, I don't drink and I just work out.
But that is also like a different vibe because you're not necessarily bringing your partner into it. I feel like that's when it can get really hard. But if it's just you, then I mean, it's different. But Below Deck also has like the crazy like environment of like not sleeping a lot and not eating good food for you, and like you're just being spent, and they're like, it's just 6 weeks, like we can do it, and this attitude, and I'm like, I'm exhausted watching you.
I know.
I need my face masks, I need to go to bed, I need to get quality sleep.
I think about that. I was like, I don't think I'd be able to go on Below Deck because I'd be like, I need like 8 hours of sleep, people. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And then like, not to talk about Below Deck, but like, I always wonder how they always say like no request is like too much. Like,
right.
have they've never shown on the show if they've ever gotten them like too far of a request, but like they fulfill some pretty weird requests.
Totally. I mean, talking about just like the stress aspect, they have the craziest requests. Imagine how stressful that job would be, because if you're like the head stew and you can't fulfill a request, what if then the tip is bad and then it's on you, and then you're like, oh, yes, I just screwed this up for everybody. Like,
yeah,
my stress level would be like off the charts. Because like, I don't know if you saw this episode, but some guy really wanted, what is it called? 1974. I don't know. It's a tequila. I'm like, I don't know if that's the name, but it's like expensive. It's really good. And they were in, I don't know what country they were in, but they were like, we're trying to source it. He gets on the boat. He's like, do you have it? And they're like,
I remember that one.
and like, he was not having a good time. I get you paid money to be here, but sir, like, if the not having the tequila is going to ruin your time, like, that's crazy. And like, it came in like the middle of the night in the boat. Like, if I was Kate, I would be so effing stressed and like over one bottle of tequila.
I mean, some people were just really picky, I guess.
Like, god damn, like, pack it yourself then. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I guess like,
I don't think you can like hide alcohol in like your suitcase. I mean, but I don't think you're supposed to like bring it.
I don't think that's hiding.
Well, they sourced it. Oh, maybe, I guess you can bring alcohol. You can't bring like meats and stuff, right? Or like vegetable or things that are like, well, there's like certain things.
I'm trying to think. What did we bring from Italy? What did we bring? God, I can't remember. My grandma, when she come up from Mexico, would always bring like all kinds of treats and all kinds. But I think that's in your.
It
I
can't be
seen it
stuff that like it, like affects the environment, right?
right. Like okay, great example. We came back from Cancun like 6 years ago, and I accidentally brought literally like apples from Mexico.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no one stopped me or searched my bag. It was like my carry-on, so I just like ate them and like is that I don't know if that's bad.
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's like whatever. I mean, like if I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna bring like shit back.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can bring all kinds of stuff back. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not if
I'm not an
sound off in the
expert on
comments
that
if you
one.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Sound off. Flight attendants, put your 2 cents in here. We
Yeah,
don't know
flight
what you can bring
attendants
back.
go off. But it's just like
Pilots.
pilots reply in the comments. But it's so it just
Xander, reply in the comments. Okay, it's enough.
it's just so it's so insane to like obviously when we're watching these shows we're probably not thinking that deep, but then I sit back and I'm like, would I do it for the money? Would I compromise like my fucking mental health for these sorts of things, like whether it's, you know, I'm on a TV show with my partner, or it's just me doing a job like on Below Deck or like Housewives. Like I see all the fights they get into, everything, and I'm just like, ah, like entertaining to watch, but my mental health could never. Like it just, it's so intense because I think we, you know, as a society, we kind of like laugh and we're like, oh, you have a reality TV job. Okay, it's so hard. But like I would not do it. I don't care how big the check was. I feel like I would be on edge and like
Mhm.
like I would be like just like a loser. Like I wouldn't say anything because I'd be so stressed out.
I don't know if he has experience growing up, but like I was often someone that would say something and like really regret it after.
Oh,
So
yes.
many times.
Yeah.
Oh, so many memories. And I literally have like vivid memories of like middle school, like doing that so many times. And like I would like think about this, whatever I said, insert quote for like days and days and just stew and stew. And that's
Mhm.
called something that's like an actual thing. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
called. Um, yeah, I don't know what it's called. It is something though. But even like us, like when we were thinking about when you were basically forcing me to say yes, do the podcast. I like one of the things I was slightly nervous about is like me saying something and like it getting taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I think that this comes with growth, knowing like we are what is the right terminology here? Like we're not responsible for how people um like we don't know what lens they're going to view something,
Right. Yeah,
anything.
totally.
So like all I can do is make sure is what I'm saying is like authentic to me, and I know like in my heart like I don't I'm not coming after people with like daggers,
Right,
constantly. Like
exactly.
that's not my goal. So anyway,
That's my goal.
literally, um being on reality TV, like it's just like so many things that they say. I'm just
Yeah.
like, like you know what I mean? Like that's like forever out there. And like I think, yeah, from a mental health standpoint, I don't think I could do it either. And like everyone just like Lisa, obviously, like she's awesome. Like she's built for this. So it's like
Yeah.
super easy for her to like be off the cuff and say
Yeah.
stuff and be fine with it. But just some of them, I'm just like, I can't believe you said that.
I know. I know. And it's so hard because even, you know, when we were recording the last couple episodes, we were like, oh, should I not have said that or blah blah blah, whatever it was. And it's like when you're live talking and you're having an authentic conversation,
Hmm.
real things come out. And
Hmm.
when you're making a story on social media or you're writing a post, you have that time to edit. But like when it's being recorded, you're just speaking candidly and freely, and like that's how it should be. So it's interesting and not fucking scripted.
Yeah.
Um, but then you can like sit with yourself and be like, oh, should I not have said that? Did that come out wrong? Did I not get my
Yeah.
point across? So yeah, times 10, that being on reality TV. And also just like I don't necessarily need to watch myself like doing daily life. Like I'd be like,
Oh,
does my posture look good? Is my outfit cute? Like, am I
yeah.
eating too fast? Like, I would be so concerned about like
Yeah.
everything. Like it would just be so intense. And so, oh my God, it would like for the mental health, it's a no. For the money, I don't even know if there would be a dollar amount because like I would just be so in my head that it wouldn't be
Yeah.
worth it.
I mean, you would constantly have people's opinions on you, i.e.,
Oh,
Brittany,
yes.
when she gained weight, people were so mean
That
to
was
her.
horrible. They were so,
I mean,
so horrible.
and I wasn't there present day to see what people were saying. I'm watching this back, obviously, but it's just like I always say, like, you don't know why someone is gaining weight. There are so many reasons. Medication, like
Mhm.
trauma, they're dealing with depression, someone died, even like weight loss too. Oh, this is a big one. Like just because someone looks like they lost weight doesn't mean they're trying to lose weight. Like depression, way people
Yep.
cope. Some people, when they're depressed and overwhelmed, they eat. Other people, they don't eat.
Yep.
So there's so many reasons why someone can lose and gain weight, and then to comment on that for someone that's already on a public scale, it's just like,
Yep.
why stoop that low and be like that kind of person? I couldn't like take that ridicule. We talked about
No.
this in the first episode, like
Yeah.
whenever we would get comments about our weight, like,
Even just like on our scale, people leaving comments,
yeah,
it
the few
shakes
thousand
you
people.
for a
Yeah.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It, and
So
it's so crazy because like you said, people are already putting themselves out there.
mhm,
Why does the little troll behind the computer screen feel so entitled to say something? And it's because the little troll is like, well, they're putting themselves out there. And it's like, just because somebody is putting themselves out there for our entertainment, like we're all watching this, like that's why it's still on TV, does not give you the right or entitlement to be like, yeah, I'm going to say what I want to say. It's like, whoa. Well, I would love to just like meet some of those people
yeah,
and
I
just like
mean,
what goes through your brain because it doesn't make sense to a normal person.
well, I mean, we talked about this before. It's people that are maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Actually, we did in the Instagram live. It's they're projecting their
Yeah.
insecurities, and if someone's super unhappy with themselves and they see someone publicly who
Yeah.
maybe gained some weight, like Brittany, and then they're like, "Oh, like what?" I don't know what they were saying. You can insert whatever mean thing you've gotten or heard
Yeah.
before. That's what people do, and that's the unfortunate side of it. But yeah, yeah, our scale is so small. We have like a couple thousand people each. Like I can't imagine like hundreds of thousands of people and constantly getting that like kind of attention and good and a lot of bad. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Like
think so.
I am the type of person that I do enjoy public speaking, but I don't love being the center of attention or people looking at me or like that, any sort of stuff. I like clam up under pressure and
Mhm.
I get so awkward and like not
Mhm.
myself
Mhm.
that whenever, again, like we'll be, James and I will be like watching a show and I'm just like, oh my God, like I could never. Like, can you just imagine having a conversation? You think you're having a conversation with your friend in private in your home. And
Mhm.
yes, there are cameras there and you're aware of that, but then it's like all over the TV and then everybody inserts their opinion. Dead. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no. Like funny story when I think about like clamming up, like I when I was working, I took a job at this gym in my area, and I remember one of the first times that I like had to coach the class, like it was a
Yeah.
CrossFit gym, and it was like 5 a.m. I think 5 a.m. class. Back when I did that, like, that was freaking crazy, coaching 5 a.m. It was huge class in
Super
like
busy.
yes, and like maybe out of the 5 to 6 owners of the gym, like 3 of them, like the
Eek.
scary ones, like the
Yep.
super jacked, like very macho masculine ones were there. And I like was like, okay, guys. Like I just felt like I literally my whole body was like hyperventilating. Like my voice was so high. I was like sweating buckets, like, just
No.
being in front of people, like, I didn't know these people, like, I just met them,
Yeah.
last couple weeks, and that's, like, why I always think about, like, talking in front of people that I don't know or super nervous, like, that's, like, my immediate reaction.
Yeah. I mean, it is so intense, especially when you're doing like something big for the first time. Like
Mhm.
I have the worst anticipatory anxiety. Like I remember
Oh, yeah.
in it was senior year of college, and we were like giving our like a final presentation for this one class. I don't even remember what it was.
Mhm.
And I had to keep going to the bathroom. I was like getting up and leaving, getting up and leaving, getting up and leaving. And my professor was probably like, what the fuck is up with this girl? And then when I get up there, I'm great. I'm on it, like zero
Mhm.
anxiety. But the waiting around absolutely just like destroys me. And no
Mhm.
matter like amount of breath work that I'm doing or trying to like recenter my body, like my nervous system is like on 10, and it's the worst. So like whenever people are like talking about, oh, I just get a little nervous, get a little anxiety, I'm like, I wish, because like I go from
Yeah.
like the 0 to 10, and then I'm like, oh my god, this is mortifying. Then I'm like, oh my god, do I have sweat stains? And I'm now trying to like be professional, like give this talk. And even like you're at the gym, you're trying to like get people hyped, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is stressful.
I was probably the worst authority figure in that room that they could have possibly had, but, I persevered. It wasn't
Do you
like that
feel
forever.
like if you had to go back today, like if they were like, Maddie, we need you to do a class. We need you for this. You're the only one that can do
Oh,
it. How would you feel confident wise? Do you think you've seen yourself grow in a different way since like coming into your business, and like you're obviously not the person that you were back then.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't be as nervous, but then I can't really say so because really recently I was like in front of like a new it was like a networking group. I'm like, you know what? Someone invited me. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Like
Yeah.
I've never been to a traditional networking group before with like other entrepreneurs or like just small business owners in the area. So I went and I didn't realize they were gonna like put me on the spot
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened, but like not to the same degree. Like I persevered through, like I pushed through, and I was like, don't let it take you. I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah. Yeah.
myself going, like not blacking out, but I felt myself going in that direction. And then like 10 minutes later, they asked me another question. It was like way more casual, but like it happened again, but it like wasn't on the same extent. So I think it's definitely like decreased,
Yeah.
over the years, and I feel more confident in the way I talk about things and the way I show up on social media. I'm sure you can agree, like the first time you ever put a post out, like talking to, your growing audience, you're probably like, hey, like, I'm kind of a coach. Here's some tips to eat healthier. And then now we're just like, listen up, bitch. Like, not really, but like sometimes that's how I feel like that, it definitely has to change, but like doesn't mean I'm perfect and I don't revert back to like old, tendencies of like
Yeah.
anxiety for sure.
Which makes us like so human in that way. Like I don't think no matter how much we grow or have this voice, and we feel our power, I think it's still like everybody's going to have like that thing or somewhat of that thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like you are allowed to grow, and growing is great, but I think there's always going to be like that little part of you, just because like we're human, and to put this like immense pressure on ourselves, like, oh, one day I'll get over this completely, it's like
Mhm.
that's a fucking big ask for yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's huge.
Yeah.
So I love that you were able to like in that moment like go to the event, because going like to a place like alone in the first place is like kind of
Yeah.
awkward. I'm like, like
It was.
Google how to start a conversation. Like I'm like, this is weird. But it
Yeah.
actually it gets to be really fun, and like you get to like do different shit and network with all these people. And once you do it once, it's like going to the gym or going to therapy or
Mhm.
focusing on your nutrition. Once you do it once, it's like, okay, that wasn't that bad. And then you get
Yeah.
stronger, and it gets easier, and it actually becomes like, this is something I really want to do.
Yeah.
But oh my god, yeah, no, this the public speaking aspect, whenever I was waiting for my turn, like if I was in the like in that area like where you're like, oh, I was waiting and they said something, I would be like, oh my god, I need to go first. That is my toxic trait. I'm
Uh,
always like, I have to go first, like I am actually going to like
Combust.
vomit. Yeah, I'm like, it's horrible. And I'm like, I'm not an asshole. I'm just so anxious. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I
I was
get
that
that.
kid, like in class, we had to read aloud. I'm like counting
Uh-huh.
the paragraphs. I'm like, okay, this is my paragraph. And I'm like practicing it in
Oh
my
my
head.
God, yeah. You practice it 100 times and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I learn every single
Like,
word.
I have got it. And then I would still kind of like biff it up. But I mean, you know what? Practice was there. I was trying. And like, even just going back to like thinking about like, I'm so glad that I'm in this career path because like, imagine like to be an actor. I'm like, how do they remember those lines? I would have I couldn't, what? Like, I guess obviously you have to have a passion for it, but like, that
Yeah.
seems so stressful. I'm like, I gotta
Yeah.
do everything for my mental health. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know why I was thinking about this when we were talking earlier about just like what they do for their health and stuff like that.
yeah.
Back when I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians,
Oh
and
my
the card
God.
the Kardashians, that's the new one that's
On
called.
Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they showed Kim's workout routine
No,
numerous
no.
times. And it's just like, okay, 2 points here. This is really actually good. First point. What was the first point? First point. First point. Like, if if I no, here's the actual first point. Sorry, my mind is all over the place. Um, they love to say they got no work done. They didn't get any work done, allegedly, and I had nothing done. But like from what I can see, like you had work done, you know? like
Yeah.
like you definitely had work done. Second thing, other point is we talked about this before. We're probably going to talk about it more in depth again. We talked about it on Instagram Live, so it wasn't a podcast. But when it comes to finding a person, a coach, a nutrition, a fitness trainer, whatever, like it's important that you vet them out and make sure they're legit, things like that. But like even the people who are rich and famous, they still find crappy coaches. Like the crap that Kim was doing, like the workouts, like those were not effective movements. She wasn't even like, and I try not to be like, I'm very big on like, I mean, I don't work out in a regular gym, I have a home gym. So like, there's no one for me to be like, hey, that form sucks. There's no one but like my husband.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
and he wants me to help him. But like there's no one for me to like openly critique, but I don't go on the internet and openly critique people's form. So I wouldn't do that necessarily because like I'm looking at Kim's form and like honestly like how would you do it like that? That to me it's just like it's almost impossible. Like even the rich and famous are falling victim to like shitty coaches.
Yeah. And
That's
it's,
what I thought.
you have that big, like you are on TV, you're showing this off. And they're so responsible for this. They have given people such a false sense of like beauty in their reality. Like I think
Yeah.
Kylie just admitted to like getting this work done and how she regretted it. And she was always like, no, I've never had work done. And
Yeah.
like you see their bodies changing, like huge asses. And then a week later, it's like they look tiny. And it's
Yeah.
like it's so dangerous to go around and like talking about these things. And then to also like be showing your workouts and like, I'm sorry, what the hell are you doing? Like
Yeah.
the stuff was crazy. It looked like you're gonna like bust an ankle, and you have a huge platform. You have a responsibility. Like their trainer should be like, let's get like maybe if we're doing some high intensity stuff, let's have better form because people at home might be watching this and might want to try and copy the workouts. Like just like, oh my God, I every time I see it pop up on like TikTok, I always think to myself, that looks like a really great way to get hurt.
Yeah, but a bigger question here. Do you think just because you're a celebrity or just because you have a platform, you always have to keep that in the forefront of your mind? Because one could say that, like, she's not telling people to work out that way. So why does she give a shit for what she's doing if someone does it? Do you know what I mean?
That's true. That is
Like
true.
for us, I feel like I have a duty to like, show things that like actually like, I'm not going to show you a fat burner. I want to be like, hey, creatine, that works. Protein powder, great. But I'm not going to show you a fat burner because I don't believe in those. And we know the science shows they don't actually work. But
Right.
just because you're a celebrity, like, do they really have that moral obligation?
Well, I think to play devil's advocate, if you're selling a product, if you are saying, I haven't had work done, if you're going to be making money off of what you're putting out there, I do think so. Because like with Gwyneth Paltrow, she has like goop. Half the shit, I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And you're making money off of this. And so and I believe that she believes in her own delulu-ness. Like, I really do. Like, I just think she's like, she's in the goop. Like, this is what she is. This is what she lives and breathes. For someone like, you know, the Kardashians, if you're saying, I've never had work, and you're going out there and pushing different products. Like they used to do different like fat burning commercials or just like weight loss stuff. That I have a problem with. And I also just think like, if you are editing your pictures or you're doing work, just say it. Just like be a person of integrity. Be like, who the fuck cares? Yeah, I edit my pictures. And like people would respect you more. Cause like the amount of like times they've had like photoshopping errors and like the little Photoshop detectives are like coming out, which I think is like really entertaining. It makes me just really question you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe it's not your responsibility. Maybe you don't have to say anything. And maybe I'm just putting too much pressure on you. But I do think if you have a platform, you can do whatever you want, but maybe just like be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like if I ever got work done, I'd be like, yeah, I got work done.
Like, I'd be like vlogging the whole thing.
Like literally, like me now, like, yeah, we're getting facelifts. Like I will get a facelift at some point and I will, vlog the whole thing, show you the before and after, show you the scary to hopefully better.
Hopefully.
Hopefully better. But yeah, I think it's like, you know, one time Chloe was voicing that she was really upset, like basically saying that like we as in the public have created the monster that she is, where she feels the need to like edit everything and be perfect and everything because of the comments that she's gotten over the years. And that's why she's like this, and that's why she has to look so perfect. But at the same time, you create your own environment. If she were to post things that looked more real, if she were not to face tune so much or be more open about it, people would accept that more, you know, just like I think she created that, not just the public.
I think people were also always so mean to her, and they're like, you don't look like the rest of your sisters, and you know, you have a different dad. And I do feel like she got the short end of the short end of the stick. What do people say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Short end of the stick.
Because she was always being compared to her sisters, which is the problem at first. So I can understand why she would feel this pressure, but I feel like now she's like, I'm in too deep. Like now I don't know how to stop because I've been doing this. And like, remember when her grandma or somebody like posted that unedited picture of her?
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
And she looked great.
Normal.
Like she looked fine. Like there was nothing wrong with the picture, but she was like people were like showing it in like YouTube videos and just like doing little commentary, and she was like having the videos like blocked and removed. Like she and her team were on like a warpath to get that picture off of the internet. And like if you to have to go to that length, that just actually makes me really sad. And like whether or not, you know, you have this platform and you should be like, oh, I am editing my pictures, or I'm not being honest, whatever. Just that alone makes me fucking sad for her, that like you feel so much of this pressure, and to kind of like bring it back around to the start of the show, just like being so vulnerable like that, like you're putting yourself out there and people are going to comment and they're going to say shit. And like, even if she did own it and be like, yes, I fucking Facetune everything, you guys are assholes, like blah, blah, blah. People would still be like, your Facetune sucks, do more Facetune. Like,
I mean, you're going to get that with everything. Enough.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's why I've said multiple times on many different times, like, I don't edit any of my photos. Like, have I picked better poses? Absolutely. Have I said that? Absolutely. But I've never edited anything because it's just not realistic, you know? Like, how many freaking, there's an account I follow on TikTok. I can't remember her name right now, but she shows different people editing. There's two accounts, different fitness trainer editing their photos, just people editing in general.
Mm,
And I mean, the amount of like fitness trainer ones that I don't think she was the one that exposed it, but just like she
it's out
reported on
there.
it. Yeah. Like just fitness trainers do it all the time. Like, buy my glutes program, and then their glutes are like substantially bigger than the rest of their body. You know what I mean? Like stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like it's just trainers use it all the time, probably. We may not see it because it doesn't run our circles, but like
Right.
that's just something that I think if you are constantly putting that type of content out where you look perfect, and then you're gonna fear judgment when you don't, because like you always show that. So I think
Yeah.
it's just like creates that environment of like it has to
Oh,
be
yeah.
perfect or can't be up.
Totally. Then nothing is never good enough for you. And
Yeah.
you create this monster and it's like,
Yeah.
well, shit, now I can't just like post this like cute picture because like now I have to sit and edit it for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then it's still not perfect. And what if people can tell or whatever runs
Yeah.
through, someone's head. It's like, that's a lot of pressure versus if we can just show our like real selves and like be candid, but that is also hard. Like maybe some people that do Facetune a lot, maybe they were like really bullied. Like that's the hard thing with like
Yeah.
being online. And like honestly, I'm just like in the vibe. Like Tana Mojo.
Yes, but like I don't know anything about her.
Okay, well she like hardcore Facetunes her pics, but she's honest about it. She's like, yeah, I Facetuned it, and like someone
Oh.
confronted. They're like, Tana, this doesn't look like you, and she's like, yeah, but it's a good picture. Like do that. If like I'm just about
Yeah.
like, especially if you do have a big platform, I think it's just more of my vibe to like just be honest and like real about what you're doing. But like at the end of the day, like you make your own fucking decisions. And like if you're like, no, I'm gonna lie and just like not be honest, then like whatever, I don't give a shit. Like it's not that deep in my mind.
Right, right. I don't think like the common folk have to be like, I'm editing my pictures, or,
Right. Yeah.
but again, it's like that question of like, just because they have a platform, are they responsible for disclosing everything? Like,
Yeah.
I've seen like micro influencers and some bigger ones, and they'll do like a TikTok on like all the work I had done. And I'm like, that is like really cool because like
Yeah.
you have great skin, like you don't have any wrinkles, this and that, and like, and that makes sense, like that's cool, but like
Yeah.
I personally don't think common folk have to do that. But
Yeah.
I mean, if maybe here's a good thought, maybe if you are someone who's talking about health, talking about fitness, talking about beauty, like you should be like, hey, this is what I had done, this is why I look like this.
Sure. Yeah, I think if it pertains to what you're doing, and if it feels right, because
Yeah.
for some people like that shit might be scary. It's like, people are gonna
Yeah.
be in the comments being like, you fake bitch, like blah blah blah, and that's
Yeah.
worse for then like your
Yeah.
mental health and then your stress. So I do think I do like to play devil's advocate and like lean one way, like try and like look at it
Yeah.
from both sides. But I do think it's like you know the smaller accounts, people that, like I think it's about like people on like reality TV shows and like these big, big stars because like, yes, some TikTok creators are huge, but like, are they like famous? Like, maybe not, maybe kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's a case by case basis.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
agree with
fine.
that.
That is my answer. I'm gonna like sit the fence on this one and
Uh,
not pick a side. But
it depends. It
yeah, it
depends.
depends. It depends with a little asterisk.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
But I really like that. I feel like that was a really good conversation because we are like very much like reality TV is like, it's what I'm
Life.
watching, it's what I'm here for, it is life. And I think it's important to just kind of take a step back and like remind ourselves, like, not to compare ourselves and not to get like totally sucked in. And just because,
Yeah.
like, you know, these people are living their life this way or like they look a certain way or whatever, like, we can watch it for entertainment purposes and like have enjoyment. But at the end of the day, like, we don't need to judge these people hardcore. Like, we can have our opinions and be silly, but like, don't be a fucking troll. Like, little comments, like, ew, that's embarrassing. Don't listen
Yeah.
to our podcast if you're gonna do that.
But also, like, we are not coming to them for our health and fitness needs.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
Just because they got a IV drip the next day after partying
After being
does
hungover, yeah.
it does not mean that you really need one. I mean, I'm sure it feels great. I'm like, I thought about getting one just to like see what it's like, but like you don't need to like, find get all the coins out of your couch to like, go and get that done. Like it's
Yeah,
not going to be the thing that like takes you to the next level. Um,
exactly.
there's many
Yeah,
other
like
things we gotta do first.
taking like things like with a grain of salt, like seeing like
Yeah.
different things they're doing, or like, the sweat chambers people go in.
Yeah.
Like, I got to lose a couple pounds. Let me go in like this sweat chamber and they zip
Oh,
themselves up.
yeah.
Like Maddie said, we have other things we can work on before going to like these extreme levels. And like,
Yeah.
yes, maybe it looks cool, but like sometimes things look cool and they like don't do anything. Like, just
Yes.
remind yourself of that. Like, as a kid, there was always like this little like different like toys or things. I was like, oh my God, I want those. Those look so cool. And like in reality, they're probably like a piece of junk. Like, we don't
Moon
need
shoes?
everything. Yeah, like nearly broke my ankle using those. And I was like, I'm done.
Oh, it's so funny. God.
All right. Shall we
Yeah.
wrap?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. We are like, we will just keep talking and talking and talking. And I'm here
I
for it,
know.
but I don't know if you guys are here for it yet. You might
Out of
be.
it, how long has it been? I don't even know.
I think an hour, maybe. I lost track, but I know it was like it's been close to an hour or a little over.
Okay, yeah, we need to shut up.
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts or anything you want to just let the peeps know?
Um, well, when we just talked about, just take reality TV with a grain of salt, especially for your health and fitness needs, and most likely health documentaries too. Those ones are always
Mm,
those are always swayed. Another day for another conversation.
yes.
Um, what's going on in my world? I have 8 spots open for one-on-one clients, so you can apply with my link, or just send me a DM support.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. My closing thoughts are like Maddie said, yeah, just take everything with a grain of salt. Reality TV is fun. It's for our entertainment. Like, don't let it get too deep. Like I use it as a distraction in my life and something to deep dive into. And that's about it. And it doesn't have to be that deep. And yeah, if you guys want to follow us, we will put our Instagrams in link in the bio, or link in the bio. I sound really smart saying
In
that.
the show notes.
In the show notes, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.